about a car crash that killed 3 people and injured 2 others on Rock Creek Parkway early Wednesday morning.
According to the Department of Motor Vehicles, one of the vehicles had several violations. Now, DC News Now checked license plate records on one of those vehicles and found more than 40 citations. In addition, that vehicle had unpaid speeding tickets totaling to more than $12,000. Authorities said that vehicle took off from police after a traffic stop before colliding with the Honda on Rock Creek Parkway. To bring you up to speed on all of this, officers stopped the Lexus SUV but did not chase after the driver when they took off. The 3 men inside that Honda all died at the scene. 2 people inside the Lexus were taken to a hospital. We're told one is in critical condition. The other is expected to be okay. At this time, though, police are not answering questions about why they stopped the Lexus. They're also not explaining the unpaid speeding tickets. We are continuing to make calls and we'll bring you all updates as we learn more.
An immigrant from Jordan was shot and killed in Southeast on Sunday night. Police say the shooting happened during a car chase. 2 men were killed. A 3rd person we're told was injured. A spokesperson from the Embassy of Jordan confirmed Hasma Abu Halal was one of the 2 people killed. His cousin saying he was working behind the wheel of the vehicle that night and sending money back home to support his family in Jordan.
He was like dreaming, when I grow up, I will go to America. I will live the American dream. I will work for my family. The criminal rate in Washington, like no one can live in that situation. If somebody is just working and he had shot, what's the meaning of life?
Police say they do not believe any shots were fired from inside of the vehicle at this point. Police are not identifying that 2nd victim. They say they are looking for the sedan that took off after the shootings.
Time right now is 6:05 this morning. People who live in Frederick, Maryland have a few more answers about safety after that tanker crashed and exploded 2 weeks ago. DC News Now's Tosin Vakili is live there this morning near US 15 where that explosion happened. And Tosin, some safety improvements could be seen as early as this week.
Yeah, that's correct, Corey. Good morning. And those safety measures could be seen as soon as Sunday. That's what officials are saying. And one of those first safety measures that's up are guardrails that'll go right here by US 15. That tanker crash and explosion that took the life of the driver shut down US 15 and south and northbound for several hours that day. And those who live in the homes near this highway heard and felt the impact of that unfortunate incident. Now, during that meeting last night, neighbors got to voice what safety measures they'd like to see, ask questions, and got answers from officials. And those questions centered around concerns for safety and noise. And you can just hear how loud it is right here. Many neighbors say they want a noise barrier. And officials say that noise barrier is part of the plan, and it is part of the plan of widening US 15. Those guardrails will go along Apple Avenue by US 15. Officials say that is a priority, and a guardrail is something one Frederick woman tells us she wants to see done.
I just think that it should have been something that didn't happen. I think that they need to put up a wall barrier or speed cameras, or even the police on the streets could actually help prevent something like this.
Now, on the environmental side, state environmental experts say because of the crash and explosion, they do have soil contamination that had to be dealt with, and that is already on the way. Officials also said in that meeting that the acceleration and deceleration lanes that are short will be concentrated and connected to one lane to make flow of traffic easier and prevent sudden stops when people are driving here on US 15. That widening project of US 15 construction is expected to begin in 2026. Now, city leaders plan on making sure those concerns of what people want to see on US 15, they're making sure state leaders hear it. So how are they going to do that? Well, I'll tell you that coming up at 8 o'clock. We're live in Frederick. I'm Tosin Vakili for DC News Now.
All right, Tosin, thank you. Coming up on 610 on this Thursday morning. This morning, the family of a Silver Spring woman killed in an apartment fire. They're flying to the DMV to fight for change. 25-year-old Melanie Diaz's father says they are traveling from Florida to Annapolis to attend the first hearing on a bill to put fire extinguishers in all high-rise buildings that do not have automatic sprinklers. According to officials, the fire started inside a 7th-floor apartment, and they say it forced the evacuation of more than 400 people. So far, investigators say the several possible causes of the fire are there, but they can't key in on one.
He woke up to people yelling fire, fire. It's kind of crazy to know that we won't know what the actual reasoning was. It's kind of shocking, to be honest.
As for today's hearing, Diaz's family hopes fire extinguishers will be in all buildings by July 1st. There's still no word this morning on what caused an explosion at a wastewater treatment plant in Baltimore County. It happened Wednesday afternoon at the Dundalk Wastewater Treatment Plant. Now, police say the blast ripped the wall off the plant. No workers were hurt. Officials say no hazardous materials were involved.
Your time right now is coming up on 6:09 this morning. The EPA is ready to crack down on toxic PFAS chemicals found in drinking water of millions of Americans. According to the EPA, D.C. recorded some of the highest levels of PFAS in drinking water. The rule would reduce acceptable levels of the compound in drinking water. The chemicals have gone into waterways from factories. Environmental groups say the exposure to these chemicals can be linked to certain types of cancer. They say the EPA must also address the root of the problem.
Exposure to PFAS chemicals are linked to serious health harms, including some kinds of cancer, reproductive and developmental harms like lower birth weights and lower sperm count. The responsibility should really be with the polluter.
The EPA's Water Division says once the rule is finalized, local water utility companies will be required to test the water to keep up with new standards.
All right, now at 6:09, the search continues this morning for Roy McGrath. He is a former chief of staff to former Maryland Governor Larry Hogan. Now, FBI agents raided Roy McGrath's Florida home. It's been 3 days since he was supposed to appear in court for federal corruption charges. McGrath is accused of stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars from the state of Maryland. His indictment also says he used state funds for personal expenses. And stocks are tumbling as worries grow over the strength of banks after the collapse of Silicon Valley and Signature banks.
That is right. The collapses are the second and third largest bank failures in U.S. history. Let's take a look at the markets right now. The S&P 500 was down 0.7% in Wednesday afternoon trading. The Dow Jones was down about 0.9% and the Nasdaq increased by 0.05 percentage points. And fears about the world banking system are now reaching Europe.
Yeah, the White House has reassured Americans their accounts are safe, but panic and questions still remain. Now, the latest fears in the banking are now focused on a major bank called Credit Suisse. The bank's biggest backer, Saudi National Bank, has decided to not give them any more money. On Capitol Hill, Senator Elizabeth Warren pointed to Trump's administration policies of rolling back regulations as the cause of failures. Republicans are pushing back on the Biden administration's response so far.
To load up on risks, run up their profits, pay their executives giant bonuses, and eventually blow the banks.
Banks in Oklahoma, in rural towns, are about to pay a special fee to be able to bail out millionaires in San Francisco.
Some lawmakers believe it is time to permanently raise the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation's starting deposit. Currently, it's $250,000.